Hello, Sarah. My. You looking fabulous, I must say. So, just making this little video to express some ideas that I had this weekend. Some kind of really in the moment, my mind was being blown. But you know, my ego, this shell of a body, is already kind of covering that shit up. But I gotta remind myself every day that nobody dictates my reality but me. My whole life, even still today, I get these little spikes of validation from other people, you know? Like someone will say, "Oh, you look great today, Michael." Thanks, man. Oh my god. You made me feel so good just by saying that. Fuck that. Okay? Find that love from within. Nobody judges you harder than you judge yourself. It's so true. And so ultimately, you have full dictation over your reality. You know, for a while in my life, I was like, oh yeah, you know, I'm discovering myself. I'm discovering parts of myself. I'm discovering it, but fuck that. I'm actually creating it. So I'm changing the schema of things here. I'm changing it to the fact that I'm creating these things. I'm creating my life. And so what's the bigger idea here? What's a takeaway point? The takeaway point is that everything happens within. The answer is within. So I'm just going to put it out there. I was on a vision quest, you know, and no one knows what I was doing on my vision quest except for me. And I put on these headphones and I was listening to this meditation track, these binaural beats. And these binaural beats bring you to a meditative state very quickly. So I went into this meditation seeing if I could feel the emptiness that actually exists within us all. This vast emptiness. That emptiness, when you're asleep and you're not dreaming, there's no form to anything. And it's vast. And yet, there still exists that feeling of I am here, I am still me. My possessions in this physical world have been stripped away, and yet here I still am. You know, I used to think everything was physical. I consider myself a scientist, you know, and I used to think like, oh yeah, it's all just atoms. You know, that feeling inside of you, that love, that's just hormones. It's just hormones, dude. But then I started thinking, you know what? If it all is just atoms, then haven't the atoms that make up my body, haven't they changed over the course of my life? Yes, I'm a different person physically. I'm different atoms. Different atoms are making up my body. But I am still that same person that I was as a little child. Like, what the fuck is that? What is that? Why is that I am sticking around? It's sticking around. And what the mystics say, and what I've started to embrace, is that it is all one thing. It's all one. And so ultimately, you know, people will say, okay, if it's all one, then why does everything seem so separate? Well, your mind makes it separate. And as you begin to meditate more and more, you begin to become fuller and more awake and more holistic. And you begin to actually use both sides of your brain. Now, when we use the left side of our brain, we're very objective. Everything is out there, right? And when we're right-brained, we're very inside. It's like, this is me. This is me, and this is not me. So, what am I saying here? When you meditate, you actually begin to use both sides of your brain, and everything becomes more connected. Everything becomes more full. And you begin to actually grow into this realization that it is all just one. That everything is just one energy. This consciousness that exists. That is spirit in its ultimate form. It's this thing that's winding up. We came and we started with atoms. Actually, electrons. And before that, quarks. Quarks started coming together, forming atoms. Atoms started coming together, forming proteins. And proteins formed a cell. How magnificent is that? What is pushing that force forward to create this life, this thing we call life? That is spirit in its essence. And it's all winding up and up and up. And the biggest realization that I had is that you can actually take a moment and breathe in and realize that it's inside of you right now. You can actually do a little experiment on yourself and be like, whoa, shit, hold up. Let me just listen to what Michael's saying and just close my eyes and breathe in and actually, wow, oh my God, feel that, wow. And it's like, wow, I am here right now and I am free when I am inside of myself. And I am free when I am outside of myself. Because it starts here, in your heart. In your heart. Because that's just something else that the mystics realized, is that you actually have thoughts from your heart first, before your brain. Craziness. Science is just now catching up to what the mystics already knew. Wow. Loving life. Having a good time. That was for you, Sarah. Just for you. I'm going to post that just for you. I'll leave it at that.